There are three main pillars that make a good Warzone player. Number one is aim, number two is movement, and number three is positioning. We all like to work on our aim and movement, but oftentimes the thing that's actually holding us back is thing number three, which is positioning. I'm gonna give you guys 5 position tips that you can implement into your game today, and what I can promise to you is that by the end of this video, you're never gonna play the game the same again. All right, tip number one is playing like a paintballer. I was trying to think of good analogies for you guys and how you guys should be moving around Verdansk, and I found paintballers, and I realized, dude, these guys play their positioning so well. Why? Because they can only get hit by one paintball before they're out, right? Their aim has to be really good. Yeah, their movement around the map has to be really good. But 3, their positioning has to be perfect, which is why we can take tips from paintballers and put them into our gameplay. I'm actually going to hide my screen right here just so you can see these guys off the break. Watch how these guys come off the break. I think it's 3, 2, 1, boom. They all go to a piece of cover. They're playing angles. They're looking for info and only trying to get one bullet off on their enemy right here. So their positioning is perfect. And now let me explain to you why this is so important. The main reason is because paintballers, they have to play really patient. I get really in trouble when I don't play patient. I'm running out in the open. I get exposed. Look how none of these guys are out in the open. They're playing really good angles. They're playing very smart and very patient. A good cue for you guys trying to drop more kills, but you get stuck in the middle of the game because you die and it's holding back your PRs, right? A good cue for you guys is fast 2 and slow through. Okay, fast 2 meaning fast to finding fights. Okay, we're popping UAVs, we're running around the map, we're traveling in vehicles. Fast 2, so fast to finding the fight, but then slow through the fight. And I'm not saying like our fight should take 3 minutes, but we should be playing patient enough to find good angles. And like I said, this is the difference between you dying and you setting a new PR. So playing patient, playing like a paintballer with really good and tight positioning. There's a couple things you could learn there. So the second thing would be the tight positioning and cover. So as you can see right here, I'm going to skip forward a little bit. Watch this guy up in the top right. I'm going to hide my screen again. Watch number 4 and how he goes to cover right here. He's going to break to that top right Dorito up there and boom. He breaks over. He basically does a slide cancel, right? Pops around the corner, finds a really good angle. He's playing the angles. Watch this guy on the left here now too. Okay, he's on one piece of cover. He runs. He died. Dude, my guy's definitely running hybrid, right? That guy's definitely running hybrid, right? But these guys are playing different angles. They're going from cover to cover, and they're playing extremely smart and extremely patient, also finding really tight angles and head glitches, which is what we're going to talk about next. All right, so we just talked about how playing like a paintballer with tighter angles and being more patient is really important, but what about head glitches? If you don't know what a head glitch is, it's literally just a piece of cover that you stand behind that you can shoot your enemy over. And let me go ahead and ask you, which one's easier to kill, right? If I'm coming around this corner, there's a guy in this head glitch right here. Let's say I pop to the left and this guy can see my full character model. I'm probably dead, right? Rather than popping around this corner, ripping him off his head glitch because I have some cover with my player model by this barrel right here. Playing head glitches, what they essentially do is they even out the playing field. Let's say you're a 1 KD player, but you face a guy that's a 5 KD player on Verdansk. What you grabbing a head glitch essentially does is it evens out the playing field because you have the advantage in that gunfight with that head glitch. And I'm going to show you guys right here with this clip. You go ahead and tell me which player is easier to kill. All right, so here I am. I pop up behind the head glitch. As you can see, you can only see a little bit of my player model. Very tough to hit, as opposed to me standing out in the open where my full player model is exposed. Obviously, you can tell me which one is easier to kill. The point being, play more head glitches. So here's a bit of a bonus tip, and you're gonna see it here in a second. I'm in solo quad, so I know there's multiple enemies. It happens to be 2 over there grabbing loadout. All I'm doing is playing this head glitch on the car. The cars make insane natural head glitches, so play cover off the cars. I'm playing like a paintballer, extremely patient, waiting for somebody to get impatient. And as you see, we get our first knock. We hop in the whip, and here's where the tip comes into play. If you press your circle button or whatever it is to lean out, and you place yourself on the opposite side of your enemy, you're gonna get this insane natural head glitch. As you can see right here, we rip him off that head glitch, we destroy him. He has loadout, we do not, just by simply playing positioning and the head glitch out the vehicle. Tip number 3 is using our positioning to isolate fights. So if I'm taking on 3 enemies, which you're gonna see here in a second in this clip, I wanna make it 3 different 1v1s. I want to 1v1 the first guy, the second guy, and the third guy. Let's take a look at this clip. All right, ignore the pickle costume. What I want you guys to focus on is how we use cover to isolate this into 3 1v1s. They get stuck in a really bad spot. We try to smoke our teammate up at the buy to save his life. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. So I'm using this rock to isolate all my fights. I catch the first guy slipping, thankfully. We're looking for the second guy, using this rock to isolate 3 1v1s here, okay? So we're focusing on that positioning, get the second knock. I know there's only 1 left. I'm taking cover right here. I slide out, take out the third guy, pick up our full kills, and isolate those guys into 3 1v1s. Let's go. All right, tip number 4 is a fun one, and this is what I call funneling. You can actually funnel your enemies into areas, into archways, into doorways, especially on Verdansk. I'm going to show you an example clip here in a second. But what we're doing is, let's say, for instance, I pop around this corner. There's a guy in the head glitch. He gets me one shot. I know for sure he is going to chase me, right? And essentially, this archway would become my new funnel, right? We're trying to funnel our enemies into easy locations to shoot, right? So he gets me one shot. I run away. I can reposition behind this head glitch, or maybe even play like a paintball or play like a really tight angle right here. But what I know is 100% he is running through this archway, or he is running through this funnel, right? We have funneled him into a certain location that we 100% know he's going to run through. So we can even pop back here. We can hear footsteps. We can throw pre-fires down. We can just be pre-aimed, ready for him to go. And what that's going to do is by us repositioning and running away from that fight, it's going to give him a few more milliseconds to actually hunt us down where we know he's coming through that funnel, okay? So I'm going to show you this example clip right here. All right, so here's a good example of funneling. I'm in solo quads. I just dropped off rip. I pick up this guy's Krig. It only has 15 bullets in it. I also have a secondary HDR. So I have really bad guns. All I'm trying to do is funnel the rest of this guy's teammates into this building. I know that if they run through these doors right here, I'm going to have easy shots on them as long as I'm anticipating it. And as you see right here, I hear the footsteps behind me. I pick up the SWAT. They funneled through the doorway. Sure enough, we pick up 2 easy knocks. We now have the advantage in the gunfight. Point is, if you have to reposition, do so with funnels in mind and funnel your enemies in certain locations. All right, position tip number 5 is on shouldering and the no repeat rule. So what shouldering is, if you guys don't know, it's literally popping your shoulder out to basically gather info on where your enemy is, and how many enemies are there. Okay, so that's what you're doing. You're right here behind cover, popping your shoulder out just for a split second to gather info on where and how many enemies are there. Okay, so that's what shouldering is. You can do that in a number of ways. You can even use the slide cancel to shoulder. When you're shouldering, I don't want you guys to be ADS, because when you ADS walk, you are so much slower and you cannot do this. So when talking about being patient and being a paintballer, yes, we want to play tight angles, but to get the initial peak, right? Let's say we don't have this angle covered, right? Let's say there's a guy on the head glitch and we don't have this angle covered. We don't know if he's for sure there. We are not going to slow peek this like a paintballer. No, at first we are going to shoulder it to find if there's info there, and then we can actually peek and challenge him. But that's where the second part comes in. The no repeat rule comes into play. So let's say I pop back here. I don't know if there's anybody back here, but I shoulder him and I see that there's a guy right there. What that's going to do is he most likely saw me too, right? But he didn't have enough time to shoot me because he wasn't ready for me. He wasn't quick enough to react. So I pop right here. I see there's for sure a guy behind the head glitch. My no repeat rule means I cannot repeat to challenge this unless I for sure know I'm going to win that gunfight, right? Because most likely what's going to happen is your enemy's going to be over here. He's going to see you pop out for a millisecond and shoulder that. And all he's going to do is hold this pre-aim. He is now aiming where he last saw you. So what the no repeat rule does is basically you shoulder to gather info, and then instead of popping back here to shoot him, all you're going to do is you're going to shoulder, then you're pop right here to shoot some shots, and then you're going to pop maybe back to this head glitch, right? But the point being is you don't pick the same spot twice because it's too predictable, and that's exactly where your enemy's aim is going to be. So once again, in slow motion for you guys, all I would do is I would shoulder that to gather info. If I know that he's there, he's probably pre-aimed right here. So all I'm going to do is shoulder, pop back, maybe throw a couple quick shots. I know that I don't want to take this fight. We learned that from earlier. I want to play the head glitches, right? So with that in mind, all I'm going to do is peek this once to get his aim this way, and then challenge him on the head glitch. I hope that makes sense. Use your shoulders and use the no repeat rule to your advantage. Well, there you guys have it. I hope you guys learned something new. If you did, make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. You guys have been blowing up the comments with a ton of positivity, and you guys seem to really be enjoying these videos, so I'm definitely not going to stop. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Road to 100K subscribers as well, so make sure you sub if you haven't already. Also, check us out, kick.com/MarkClarkk. We are probably live right now. We're live every single night except Saturday, so we'd love to have you guys over there. Ask us questions, hang out with our awesome community, whatever it may be. We hope to see you guys in the live streams. And until next time, man, make sure to check out this video right here.